Hello, everyone. Susan Winter here. Thank you for joining my live show. I got this lovely message from Sammy, first time she's been able to join live. B and Gwyneth are here with me, as is Phil and Elizabeth. How are all of you? So nice to see you today. Well, I'm back in Arizona. I have some good lighting and I'm in my office. So today we are, thank you, fortunately not too messy. Okay, so today I'm talking about something that I'm really excited about, and it is how to avert and how to stop a breakup. I'm going to premise this entire discussion with a conversation that if you are experiencing physical violence, get out. This is not a discussion for you. You need help, you need safety, you need security, and you need therapy. Okay. If you are experiencing psychological abuse that is intentional and purposeful, get out, get help. This is for those of you who find yourself in a relationship. Maybe it's new, maybe it's long-standing, and you just keep coming back to those same circular arguments, and you're getting so tired. You're getting worn down. The attrition of the fact that it's become so difficult to stay in this relationship. Now, this could happen if you're newly seeing somebody and something happens and suddenly they get triggered and you're like, wow, where did that come from? And it came out of left field and you like them and you don't know what to do next. We're going to talk about how to handle those conversations. For those of you in long-standing relationships with the same unresolved issues and circular conversations, I'm going to help you with the communication style and getting to the heart of what this is. Let me first start by saying that it is my understanding, and it has been for a long time, that relationships are never just what they appear to be. Relationships are a lot more than having somebody to sleep with, somebody to go places with, a built-in, plus one right there, and checking it off the list of, yes, I found a partner, good on me. Relationships for many individuals are a conscious awareness of the fact that we are uniquely drawn to this very specific person who also excites us and challenges us, who loves us and who irritates us. And all these configurations mean that we are finding ourselves innately attracted to somebody who, on some unconscious level, mirrors an aspect of our childhood wounds, our childhood family of origin. And we are here to change the story of our history through our modern day love. And the beauty of a relationship is that two people join hands and they discover each other's boo-boos. They discover each other's triggers. And if you didn't know if you've got triggers, get into a relationship, you're going to see it because everything comes out. I used to say, I don't need to go to therapy. All I have to do is get into a high stakes relationship. Everything's going to come to the surface. And that is the frustration where people bail, but it's also a divine, exquisite moment where healing and unity can occur in the safety and the beauty of the wrapping of this magnificent relationship. I believe that inherent within relationships is the potentiality for us to advance our evolution and our self-awareness hand in hand with our partner who is doing the same. And that together we understand each other's triggers and we are here to assist each other's healing. It goes both ways. Now, the rub is that for people who don't think like that and who don't have a skill set and who aren't looking at relationships as being a far more important vehicle of transformation than they are, they're going to get out. Just get out like, oh, this is too much work. But it's very interesting because for years I was telling people, like 20 some years, I was saying, they're like, oh, I know it's love because I got the goosebumps. I'm like, I don't think goosebumps are all excitement and hope. I think they have a mixture of a bit of terror and unpredictability. People are like, oh, no, no, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. Now therapists are saying the same thing. We are innately attracted to somebody that on some level represents something from our past. We know it, we gravitate to it. It could be a room full of people. You'll find that one because you vibe with them and they vibe with you. You know them before you know them. But this discussion is so that you don't drive each other crazy and that you understand that. And if you understand it and your partner doesn't, have them watch this video. If your partner understands it, they need to explain it to you. The two of you need to be working in unison. So are you all with me so far? I want to make sure. I'm going to tell you some of the origins of this. Original by Bella. Can you just post this later on? I want to get through all of this first. Loving your choice of topics and your wisdom. Thank you so much. Okay, so the original work that I discovered years ago, that was the first time that I'm like, wow, I totally buy into this. It was something I felt, I'm sure many of you have felt, that there's a lot more to life than what appears to be on the surface. And the same is true with our relationships. It can be your friends, it can be coworkers, but there will be remnants of your past that are going to follow you through your life. So let's get good at healing ourselves and figuring out what's going on so that we can really take responsibility. All right. So there was a Baptist minister named Harvel Hendrix, and these books are old, folks. This is from the 1980s, like 1989, 1988. And he wrote a book called Getting the Love You Want. And he'd noticed that when he was counseling his people from his parish, that it was at the very point that they wanted to break up, that they were actually on the precipice of a breakthrough. But it was just too difficult, because they were both just stubborn and standing in their own way and wanted the other person to change. And it's actually two bits of adjustment. So when we lock horns with somebody on an issue, I'm going to go back to the teeter-totter theory, very, very, very scientific Susan talk. You're on polar opposite ends of an issue. Something that's important to you is totally being ignored or run over by your partner, and this really irritates you. Ideally, what would like to happen in the universe, in your relationship, is that the two of you come a little bit more toward the center. But what happens is we dig in our heels and we go further the other direction. We become even more, well, look at the polarization in politics. It's the same thing. So what we're trying to do is understand we need to open up our minds a little bit to where our partner's coming from in order for us to be free. I'm not saying change your values. I'm just saying understand, try to actively listen. That is number one. Actively listen to your partner, what they're saying, and figure out why they're saying it. And if you have a partner who is self-aware, it does help a lot. If you're trying to have these conversations with somebody that has no idea what you're talking about, then that might be a time to review whether this is the relationship you need to be in. Okay. But the healing comes in that these extreme dynamics where you're battling each other, you're both locked, right? And the only way out is for both to just open up and listen. Just listen a little bit. Try to understand where they're coming from. And then you go into the conversation and the negotiation. All right. Because only in an environment where the two of you can admit this is happening, this is a long-standing feeling for me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm bringing it into the relationship, but this is what's happening. And by the way, I've heard, This is normal. So you have a dialogue for how to approach this. One, you have to admit that it exists. And two, you have to admit that you're going to do it together. Are you all with me so far? I want to make sure that you understand this, okay? Let's see. Now I'm going to go on until you have some questions. If you can, thank you for this. Put it into super chat if you do. All right. So let me now talk about this. That the point of this is that we have the potentiality in these relationships to heal each other. But before we get so triggered that we just plain go to anger or shutting down, we have to take a second and say to ourselves, oh, here it is. This is it. This is that thing. They triggered me. I got to look at it. Here's where I'm reacting. Here's what they did. Here's what I did. Okay. Is there any other possible scenario here? How can I flip this thing? What kind of conversation can I have from this point of awareness? Okay. That is something that never happens. This is something that I say this only because I've done it in the past. I did this. I remember once having a 2-hour conversation with, I don't know, whatever I was frustrated with my boyfriend. And at the end, he said, "What are you saying?" I said, I have no idea. I'd lost my way. So we need to be very precise about what am I feeling? What just happened? What do I think happened? What does it make? What does it remind me of? And then go to our partner and say, this is where I'm coming from. This is what happened. And a thoughtful partner will realize that they're not to be blamed for tripping a wire that existed. The thoughtful partner will look back at you and say, "Oh, Lord, okay, what do we do? What do we do? Because I didn't mean to do that. What do we do?" And the two of you start to talk it out. Okay? Both have to give. Not one person. There's not one person who's got to modify all their behavior for you, and you should not be modifying all of your behavior for them. Both individuals have to come and take a look at this dynamic. Wow, this is intense. And then, just to take the pressure off the two of you, you can start to say, "Do you have this with, Clara at work? You talk about this before. Oh my God, I do have that with Clara. She does step on that same trigger. Oh my goodness. How can y'all work that out?" So, do you understand what I'm saying here? The awareness of your trigger is something historic. And the minute that you discuss it, it deactivates the charge. You've all heard me talk about sexual tension. And when a couple is experiencing a lot of sexual tension, they haven't gotten together yet. If you want to dispel it and get rid of it altogether, the quickest thing to do is to talk about it, because now it's out in the open. Do you understand? Any questions so far on this and how you do it? So the way that Harvel Hendrix did this, it's called Imago Relationship Therapy. And it means that we are mirrors for each other. And it means that we stand in the awareness that we hold this position in love and in understanding. And that our goal is to try to heal together. And that is the other point of partnership. Okay? Y'all have that? So somebody just put something in the chat, if you don't mind, so I make sure that I'm not frozen and that the internet didn't go out. Just put a little something in the chat just so I can see that you're all here. Because I'm here out in the Wild West and who knows what can happen. Okay? Gwyneth B, can you put something in the chat? Thank you, God. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See, when I don't see it moving, the first thing I'm thinking is, oh my goodness, something happened. Thank you all. Okay. So let's talk about those arguments that go on for hours, how you can avoid that. All right. One thing is to get really clear, talk about one issue at a time. What happens is we tend to put all of our broken toys together. That's what I call it. Like I got a little broken dolly, and then it's like, oh, the bear is messed up and that little toy is broken. And we start to put everything into the conversation. What I'd like you to do when you get to that juncture with your partner, new or long-standing relationship, I want you to start to isolate just that one thing at a time. If we start piling on other examples, it muddies the water and it doesn't help you get through the conversation. Because what I want everybody to understand is that these circular conversations can be the death knell of your love. And I'll tell you why. So many people I know keep going through these 2, 3, 4 hour conversations about the issues. And you know what happens? After months of the same thing, they're just worn down because nothing's changing. And because all this conversation is occurring, yet nothing is changing, it starts to feel like it's never going to get better. And when that happens, even if you want to be with this person, you know what you start thinking? God, this is so hard. If it's got to be this hard, I'm really unhappy. And I don't know that being with them is worth it, because you cannot get to a mutually understood end point. This has to happen in order for couples to want to continue to stay together. It is when this repetitively happens and issues get tabled as we can't sort this out, it's not changing. That stuff builds up like a compactor. And you know what happens? The love dies. The willingness to try dies. So I'm going to ask you, take one issue at a time, stay on it, be clear, try to be objective in your communication about it. Bring it to the surface, say what it is, tell them what's happening, ask them to help you in the way that only you can understand. You are responsible for communicating to your mate what they need to do to untrigger you, okay? But you are also responsible for untriggering yourself, okay? It's not all their responsibility. You have to understand, oh, here's that thing. They bumped up against it. You know what? I'm going to have to really look at that because I know they didn't do it on purpose. So I'm just guessing that I'm super sensitive, okay? Because I know they love me. Now, again, use discernment. If you're being psychologically manipulated, you're with a narcissist, this is not going to work. This is, understand what I'm saying. This is with a loving partner. And you're saying this to them, say, okay, I know I'm sensitive about this, but I also have to recognize that you love me and you did not mean to do that. Let's try this. And you try it. That discussion ends. You can't keep them for 2 or 3 hours talking about some other thing. Oh, and by the way, when you do this, no, save that for another day. You understand how isolating each conversation gives you a greater point of clarity and you don't exhaust your partner. Okay. Interesting topic. Okay, Brian. You know, I have so many people I know socially and people that I work with. And between the two of them, I hear that these things that we have grown up with, that we've worked on fixing, we are so mystified when, like, we've done so much work and then we end up in a relationship and we're like, why am I feeling this again? Because there's another level of doing it. But it is exactly within that point that we are in the moment that we could heal. So many people, and you met them, you've been dating them, you probably got out of the relationship. They hit one little bump and they're like, oh, you're the problem, I'm out. Okay. But again, both people need to be working at it. All right. Hi, Susan. I finally made it to your live. Greetings from Rio de Janeiro. Katya, how are you doing? Okay. So we're going to cease these rambling arguments that last for hours because the unresolved issues create frustration and attrition. Breakups occur because it's just so difficult. And if you need to get into therapy and say, I want to deactivate this, I know people are going to step on it, but I just want to be less reactive here. Help me do this. Okay. So we also need to check our level of reactivity. If everything everybody does is so, we need to be more resilient. People are going to hurt us in life. People are going to betray us. People will lie to us. People will be selfish. People will let us down. It's life. That's the deal. They will also delight us. They will surprise us. They will make us feel like we're on top of the world. They will give us things that we never imagined anyone will give us that are so meaningful. So if we want to experience life, we need to understand that we will have both pain and joy. But our job is to get an understanding of the pain, start to process it, and move out of that as quickly as possible to not carry it in our energy and carry it around with us, because we'll just attract more of it. So our joy should be in, oh, here it is. Okay, this is happening. Okay, what's my assessment? Okay, and on. We want to keep moving through these things so that we can experience more being present and in the moment, because the present moment is clean and pure, right? Doesn't have that baggage. The present moment is the fertile, unknown possibility of all things. And so if we continue to carry the weight of our reactivity to stuff, we're just going to drag it around and hurt ourselves. Okay? I hope that helps. Any questions so far? Carlo, hi, nice to see you again. Great live as usual. Okay. If you have any questions, put them in super chat. If you have any questions, I'll just read them as I come to them. Okay. So oftentimes, here's another strategy. If you're in couples counseling, fantastic. If you have a certain technology that you and your partner follow or that you follow that works for you, stay with it. What is really harmful for a relationship is to start listening to a whole bunch of other people, listening to your friends who might try and tell you what they think. I can't tell you how many guys I've known that have a girl that they have a great relationship with, or a guy that they're involved with, and the friends start getting in their ears and telling them, "Oh, you shouldn't be. Oh, they shouldn't do that, and you shouldn't. Why do you want that?" And blah blah blah. And they project all their stuff onto the person who now is so confused because there are so many messages going on in their head that they can't find their truth. So if you have a code that assists you in finding your truth, in finding your clarity, if you have a technology, whether it's meditation or it's something you've learned from a therapist, and it works, stay with it and be conscious of, when I speak to other people about this situation, are they clarifying things for me that feel right and true? Or are they disturbing me with their impression of an ideal response, which probably comes from their wounds because they're not living your relationship? Okay. All right. So then the other thing that's really important, and even Harvel Hendrix talks about this, is positive affirmations. It is so important in ongoing relationships to continue to let your partner know what is wonderful, beautiful, and precious about them. Because if you are in the conscious healing of yourself through partnership, it's not an everyday thing. You don't have to wake up at breakfast and talk about it at lunch, but when stuff comes up, you'll know what's going on, right? You'll know that they're mirroring something from your past that's unresolved. So what we need to do to offset that is we need to constantly be appreciative of our partner, whether that's our love language of showing affection is in deeds and actions and service, but certainly words work for everybody. You know, I appreciate you so much. Oh my goodness, you're so loving. Thank you for listening to what I said. Thank you for working with me. That means the world to me. This is why I love you so much. If it's a new relationship, it's thanks for, you know, listening to this. And I'm really looking forward to spending more time with you, whatever. Okay. Positive affirmations. Everybody's good on that? Okay. The other thing I want to talk to you about, and this is just a Susan thing, when we are doing the work and these situations come up that make us want to break up, a wonderful thing to ask yourself is, when was the last time we played? When did we laugh? When did we just put this all aside and do some goofy thing that we've been doing? Because that's so very important to just be free to be children or kids or just goof around with each other, because the lightheartedness again is the offset for the deep work that is being done as you are in your relationship. So think of the things that the two of you enjoy. It's just fun, and let it all go for a minute, because this stuff, the affirmations, the play, the laughter, is so healing. If you've been in a cycle of really working through stuff with your partner, you got to give them a break, and you've got to give yourself a break. So it's playtime, because we need the balance in the relationship. Otherwise, it just becomes too heavy. You don't want your partner to feel like they're in the middle of, like, oh my God, here we go. They've opened up their mouth. We're back into a therapy session. I can't handle this. It can't be like that. All right. Everybody got that? And the last thing I want to say is keep a positive outlook. Okay. Both partners must be willing and able to work at the relationship and on their side of the street. Okay. There is great hope. And if you have partnered with somebody where you are experiencing things happening, your attraction was right on target. Now you have a chance to really heal. Both of you. Both of you have a chance to heal. And that's the beauty of a relationship, I think, on a deeper level. Now, I'm open to your questions. I'm done yakking. That's my info for today. Does anybody have anything they want to say? It can be on this topic, it can be on something else. I will go back to Original by Bella. Hello, I have a question. My ex is liking my stories. Okay. It's kind of distressing me out while I don't know what messages she's trying to convey. What should I do? Oh, we call that submarining. I just did an interview on that. You'll see it on my website in a couple of days when I have a chance to input it. It's like you've broken up and they pop up and they come back, and they pop up and they go away, and they pop up. And this is a difficult read, because it is so easy to create mixed messages. What are they saying by liking your posts and your feed? Is it trying to creep back in to the relationship, testing the waters? Like, oh, hi, I'm afraid, I don't know, am I okay to come forward? Hi. Do they want you back? Are they being polite? Are they bored? Are they curious? It's very disconcerting. And honestly, you wouldn't really know unless you asked them. And so, depending upon what happened in your relationship, do you feel like asking them? Are you liking their posts? But the bottom line of all this is, how does it affect you? Does it distress you? Does it make you feel uncomfortable, uneasy? If so, just mute them. They can. I'm sorry, everybody. The chat was disconnected. I'm not sure what's going on here. I hope I'm still with you. Jeez. Maybe the chat's not working at all. Okay, here we go. Thank you, God. The technology stuff, honestly, the tech stuff makes me crazy. I wish I had a crew here to handle this so I could just talk to you. It makes me so nuts, because when something goes wrong, I don't know what to do about it. And this is not like something I can talk to Harvel Hendrix about, and I can't do Imago therapy on the internet. That's for sure. Okay, CA 699. Thank you, everyone. Okay, 1 out of 2. Susan, is it possible that some people with fear of intimacy lose attraction as the relationship progresses and we become more vulnerable? Wow. Wow, that's good. I don't think you're wrong, but you know what my first impulse is? I think that they fear their own vulnerability, and that as they see you getting vulnerable, it makes them uncomfortable because they would have to stay in pace with you, and they're terrified of being real and being open. Yeah. So they don't lose attraction, they gain fear. Now, certain players might lose attraction because they only wanted you when you were hard to get. You understand? They don't want you. when you're easy prey. So if it's a player, game is over, they caught you, you're no fun anymore. They want the mouse that's still wiggling. um, okay, so I'm going to look for your number 2. Um, you could always push it. You could always push it and just say, hey, do you lose attraction as you get closer to a relationship because it makes you uncomfortable? Or instead of saying lose attraction, I think what you're saying is they're pulling away. Okay, Shilly, thank you. You are with us. It suddenly said there's no chat. Then it went the internet. We had a line thread. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do now? Okay, Sammy Elizabeth, $10. Thank you. Okay, I tend to have a trigger. When someone's communication starts dwindling, I shut down and go cold. And sometimes this ruins things. How can I change this? Brilliant. 1, you acknowledge it. That's step number 1. You've just done it. Okay, and you've done it publicly. That's perfect. Now we all know that that's your trigger. Great. Now, what could you do instead? It's like a dance move, like you only know how to kick with your right leg. Could you kick sideways? What else could you do? What else might you do? You could say you notice it and then ask yourself why? Why am I shutting down? Am I afraid of looking too interested, too needy? The conversation started dwindling. I think maybe if you're in a chat with somebody, they're maybe if it starts dwindling, they're done talking. You could do a careful exit. See, I don't know the context of this. If you're in a chat and you start to notice it dwindling, they've got something else to do. They're moving on. You just say, okay, cool, listen, I'll talk to you later. All right? Talk to you later when you have time. Let's speak at another time. Or you could just, geez, if they're right in front of you, change topics. Okay. But, okay, hang on. Sometimes this ruins things. I don't know how it ruins things unless you're giving them the impression that you're not interested. Sometimes the best thing to do is the thing that we hesitate to do, which is just to explain what we're feeling and where we're coming from. If you know that you shut down and go cold when communication starts dwindling between you, probably and a new prospective partner, you could just say, I don't want to misread anything because I tend to shut down and walk away if I notice the communication is dwindling because I assume that you're not interested. Just wanted to give you that heads up just so you know where I'm coming from. Okay. Honesty is pretty cool. We never consider it as an option. Just tell them what we think and feel. Mike Lee, $4.99. How do you stop yourself from falling in love so fast with the wrong people? Well, you are attracted to the mirror of your family of origin. I keep letting my fantasy get in the way of my logic. You have the answer in your question right there. Okay. In your fantasy, everything's perfect. They adore you, they love you, but you've got a disconnect between this person that you're attracted to. You're falling in love fast and you're falling in love with the wrong people. You're falling in love with people that trigger everything that makes you uncomfortable from your past. Take a look at that. Which parent was it? Which caregiver was it? What messages were you told? You're not good enough. You don't deserve. You're not equal. You don't cut the grade. I don't know which one of those it is. You don't deserve it, whatever it is. And then you have to actively, I'm going to tell you to go duty dating. Now, that's a Susan term. I found somebody uh, on YouTube that said that there was some guy that created the term. Guys, I've been saying this for like 12 years. I wrote it back in Elite Daily in like 2012 or 13. So listen, at any rate, duty. So I want you, Mike, to go out with people who are against type. The minute you see them, they're attractive, but nothing goes off. No bells, no whistles. I want you to do this for 1 month straight. And I want you to go on 3 coffee dates or drink dates a week. Just ask them out. I don't care. You're not interested. There's nothing, no bells and whistles, no goosebumps, nothing. Just they look nice. You think you're going to be completely bored. The point is to not have a relationship. The point is to expose you. It's like exposure therapy to people that don't trigger you, because then you're going to start seeing qualities that they have that are probably ones you really need that you didn't even know you wanted. But right now, your fantasy person, whoever they are, you're just jumping on board. But I love the fact that you are 50% there. Look at what $4.99 bought you. You're 50% there because you know you fall in love too fast. You know they're the wrong people. You know where that came from, given today's show. And you know that they're all a fantasy, because there's only so much we can do with a person we meet that's the wrong person, because they're not in partnership working with you. This stuff that I mentioned, how to stop a breakup, is for those people that care for each other and want to be together and are just exhausted from going around the loop of constantly being misunderstood by each other. That's what this is for. But if your picker is going to these people all the time, you don't really have a choice, because they're going to do what they do. But as you go through this immersion of looking at different people, you're going to start to lose that trigger, because now you have more options. You're training the pathways in your mind to make other choices. And then I'd love to hear from you. That would be January of this year. Please come back and let me know. Please, please. I would be so happy if I could hear that. 25. Quasi. I hope I'm doing this right. Quasi. Hang on. Let's see. Your wisdom has completely changed my life, and I want to thank you. So thank you. Always fabulous and amazing. P.S. I just got Allowing Magnificence. I want you to listen. I do not, I self-published this. You can get it on audio. It is AI, but I think she sounds pretty cool. I think it's a couple dollars in the audio booklet, or you can get the physical copy, but it's a more spiritual view of us. It's not directly about relationships. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. I know somebody left a really bad review, a guy who said, I bought it and it didn't do anything for dating. It's not a book on dating. It's a book on you, and then you'll date. So thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, 1399 AC. Number 2. An ex said he wasn't attracted to me anymore, though he had a history of ending relationships after a few months. He cried a lot when we broke up and said he was emotionally attracted but too scared. Well, he just shot himself in the foot. Some people will kick themselves off the assembly line. Not attracted. See, I don't buy that. Unless you dramatically changed your look, uh, for individuals to want to partner with us romantically, that infers that they will be physical with us, right? You're not going to get all over something you find repulsive. You're just not. In a loving relationship that is not looking for a transactional ending. So in a case like this, this is a person who's damaged, who can at least tell you that they're damaged. That's kind of good news for you. History of ending relationships after a few months. This person is just terrified, but too scared. My question for people like that, AC, is why would you even go online? Why would you even accept a date if you haven't done the work on yourself and you know that you're going to hurt people and confuse them after a couple of months because you know you're going to bail? Like, why would you do that? That is so selfish. Are you looking for the magical person that's going to set you free? Because there's no magical person unless they tell you straight and say, hey, dude or lady, this is up to you. You got to fix it. You're going to repeat this. How dare you be so unethical to continue dating knowing that this is your MO and this is your go-to? That's just lazy and it's selfish. And by the way, it's cruel. So you better stop right now and check yourself because that's what this person needs. I'm so they're scared. Oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God, if you hurt me, I'll die. What are we doing? This is life. We know the end of the story. It doesn't get worse than that. The end of the story is right. So what? Huh, I might encounter something that makes me uncomfortable, an emotion. Oh my God, I've got no patience for this. None whatsoever. I am so sorry. I just don't. I've done this 24 years, and I'm more on the side of the people that are being hurt than the one who's too afraid to be real, to be honest, or to get fixed. So that's my rant for today. I'm sorry. God, this is the perk of getting older. You finally just say what you mean. Okay. Richard, $20. Lovely man. You are so sweet. You are always here. You're so kind. Susan, love your show. How should we deal with a partner who often doesn't raise his or her issues with us until they've festered and become much bigger issues than they should be? We can't read each other's minds. Brilliant. This person has been taught that it's unsafe to speak up, that the ramifications of being anything other than nice, nice, and repressing it are difficult and uncomfortable for whomever they were first raised by. So they probably can't express anger. And what happens is when we keep repressing our emotions, because I was taught to do this, God forbid I might get in the way of somebody's abusive behavior by having a reaction to it, right? So you keep compressing it and compressing it to be nice, to ignore it, to look over it, to sidestep it, to, walk on broken glass and pretend nothing's happening. And then something silly, little happens and you lose it. And the person's going, you are crazy because they don't know where it came from. I would tell this partner to try in baby steps to feel safe. And what they've got to, first of all, they've got to know what they feel. So, Richard, are they capable of being able to identify what they're feeling? Because if you just repress things that feel uncomfortable and then you explode and it's like it goes in shrapnel in all different directions. This is why I said focus on one issue. But again, we're assuming this person has the ability to identify what that one issue is, and maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know what the one issue is. I just feel anxious. I feel upset. It has to do with you, so I'm just going to yell at you. So, what is it exactly that bothered you? How did it manifest? What was the situation? You have to get very specific with them. Say, look, let's sort this out. I care for you, and I can see that you hide stuff. Would you be willing to try an experiment? Try with me. Give it 1 week. I'll tell you when you push past the boundary of me feeling comfortable. Okay? If you say, I hate the way you're driving, I don't like your clothes, I hate brown socks, you should be wearing olive socks, I hate, I don't like your hairstyle, you need to whiten your teeth. I don't know what they're going to say, but have them start small. Okay? And if you really want to help this person, not just with you, you are the safe spot. But as they gain strength to speak up, they probably don't send back an order in a restaurant. They probably are hesitant to return something in a store. They probably are trying to overlook what other people are slacking on doing in work because they don't want to be anything other than nice, nice, and polite. I played that game. It's disastrous. So by your showing up on this show, you're really helping them. And thank you, Richard. Thank you. Sammy, you are welcome so much. Rationally, I know it's not about physical attraction. That's right, AC. It's not. 279. Thank you so much. It isn't. They want to say they're no longer attracted to really kill the deal romantically, because that's the best way to say it. Like I don't love you anymore or I'm not attracted to you. But the lack of attraction is just their warning sign. Danger, danger, warning, warning. Oh my gosh, you might be coming up to an emotion. Time to evacuate. You made it live. Yes, you did. Justin, how you doing? Oh my goodness. And Justin's got a comment here. Let's see. Justin, good Lord, $50. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nika, did you hear that? She's lying on a sofa over here. You're getting more dog treats, a lot of them. Thank you, Justin. I adore your help, Susan. You are my go-to on learning about love and myself. Wow, 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 wow. Mwah. Wishing you every blessing of the season and continued joy in 2025. XO Justin. Justin, huge thanks. Thank you for this. This is so beautiful. I'm branching out into conversations I really want to talk about. I I will always talk about relationships, but the things I'm supposed to talk about on YouTube are killing me. Make him love me while I sleep. I will just slit my throat with a butter knife. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to talk about big concepts. And thank you for indulging me because this is what I want to do. And I'm never going to stop talking about relationships, but let's face it, relationships start with us. We're the active component that's always there. And the last couple of things that I've done have been on social imprinting and social the tribal mentality of group thought and group choice and group pressure because so many of us, well, you're all independent thinkers, but I know you have to struggle with that sometimes because there's a lot of pressure. So I really, really, really appreciate everything that you've all done and all of your contributions for this. Okay. Thank you, Justin, and thank you, everyone else. Okay, and heart to you. Okay, Phil Brad. Okay, thank you for this. You are welcome. Okay, let me go back to Papyrus. My partner and I don't talk much. We've been together 3 years. He doesn't not ask me questions, initiate, or engage in deeper conversations. I feel like we're friends with benefits, relationship bows, what to do. Um, have you had a discussion saying, "We don't talk anymore, and I love you, and I believe that we can reboot this relationship. Let's try some things that are new. Let's go skydiving. Let's go, on an expedition. Let's go on a car drive. Let's do something together that we haven't done before." There's a staleness that can seep in very easily to relationships. That's why the number one question that all partnered people ask Google is like how to keep the relationship fresh and how to keep it alive. So the two of you have settled into doing life now that you have your partner and you're aware that it's suboptimal. So you have to be the lever, what do you call it, like the little jack, the thing that opens it up, the can opener or whatever, that gets this thing going, and start to suggest some things and start to initiate and have deeper conversations. Maybe take a class together, study something online, find a YouTube video that they like, find a movie that they like and talk about it. But they've got to work with you. And they also, maybe they need to know how much this distresses you and that it weighs upon you in the relationship and that you don't want to see this relationship die of stagnation when there's so much here. And so the quick fix is to do something you've never done before, something silly where neither one of you are going to be good. Putt-putt golf, trampoline, I don't know, what else could you do? Something silly, square dancing. Don't have to know how to do it. You're both gonna suck at it, but it's not about a competition. It's about you have to break up the stagnation, like the guys in the street with those jackhammers, like that. You gotta do that. So start to do it, but do it with fun things and do it with interesting conversations. I hope that helps. And then get back to us and let us know in another show. Okay, Shilly, thanks for the input, Papyrus. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anybody here? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Any more super chats? Okay. Let's see. Was there anything at the top of this? So now's the time to ask me questions. Okay, I did this. So you're all good. Everybody's healed. Everybody's good. Nothing else to say, right? We're all good today. If you're good, I'll end. If not, if you have a conversation, let me know because I'm still here for you. B and Gwyneth join us each week. This is an unpaid position that they do it out of love, and I love them so much. David, okay, here we go. What to do when your current wife relives her past as a child? She was abused as a child, and now after her pregnancy, she thinks I'm doing things with my daughters, which is not happening. Wow. You've got to get somebody on your side ASAP and start in therapy and start presenting this as a situation because you could lose your children because of it, David. This is a big deal. You need to get into start with a personal therapist, but get into couples counseling because you need it on the record that this is something she's imagining. Okay. It's very, very important. So start with that first. Make sure that you need to start taking notes, times that this happens, conversations that were said, how silly they were. But please, I urge you, immediately get into couples counseling where you present this as something you're deeply concerned about. Because as a guy, the courts are not in your favor. I don't mean to disturb you, but that would be my first protocol. Because after a pregnancy, yeah, things change hormonally. Okay. Is she in therapy? Is she seeing somebody? This needs to be called out. Okay. I'm that's my best advice for you. Elizabeth, thank you. So helpful. JD, okay, okay, so that was done. Can we discuss no contact with baby's mom and estranged? No, okay, there's JD back here. Yes, we've done through therapy, and she said she's tried medication, but none of it's helping. It's really hard because I love her so much. Okay, first of all, this is good. David, you protected yourself. Very, very, very good. And this is on record. Why is she torturing herself with trying to pollute her present with her past? This is for the medical professionals. You're doing everything right as far as I can see. Okay. JD, it happened to me. How do I do no contact when you have children? You can't. You can't. Unless you have a court order for some reason or other, and then the kids can be handed off through a third party. Do you have an in-law that could pick up the kids for you? Um, this makes it very difficult. You may need to get a lawyer for this. I don't know why you need to go no contact. There must be something really wrong here. I'd suggest that you start with legal consultation. You know, when we come to the point that we need to have no contact, um, there's a lot that's been going on. I hope I was reading that properly. My boyfriend goes from periods of adoring me, treating me like a princess, to quite the opposite behavior and wanting his own space. Katya. Katya, today you're in Brazil, I think. We talked about it, and he claims it's normal. How do I deal with it? Was it always normal for him? So when people lurch forward, they tend to retract. You've seen this in a lot of young relationships where somebody will profess love and then suddenly, boom, they're gone. They're like, wait. So, your boyfriend needs to learn moderation. So the question is, where is the sweet spot between paying attention to you and not exhausting himself? Do you know in your heart of hearts that this person loves you? If so, take solace in that. Everybody's got their weirdness, okay? 2, you've talked about it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. You need to let this person know how these extreme shifts really affect you and ask them how they would feel if the same were true for them, if you exhibited the same behavior. What they need to do is have some kind of code language when they're getting tired and their tank is on empty. Like, I've been so nice to you and paid so much attention for 2 days. I need a guy's date to just go alone. And then understand that them going away, right, Nika? Understand that them going away is a process to reboot the relationship. Here's what's good. If you're still in this relationship, Katya, and every time after he goes away, he comes back rebooted, that's the cycle. Do you wish it weren't? Might be something you have to live with, but you just want to lessen the extremity of it. Okay, so I'd go back to the beginning of this video and start to listen to how we have those speaking, how we have the communications around it. Okay. Um, David needs an attorney, notify her. Okay, Deb, thank you for coming into this conversation. I love the fact that you're helping each other. Okay. Katya, we're good. Deb, thanks a lot. Postnatal depression. Yep. David, I know a lot about her past and I want to be her savior in a sense. Okay, now that is a difficult role and it probably won't work. What's crazy is she's a nurse and very smart, why she can't see the logic and realize none of this is actually happening. David, the hero role is really great in movies and films, but it is Nika. Okay. Okay. The big job for her to guard the house. She's my little hero here. You need to save your family and you need to save your sanity. And we hope that your wife is going to get the help that she needs. This is dangerous territory. I want to be her savior. That sets you up for a beating emotionally. Your wife has to take the medication and she has to do her own thing. You can be there to support her. You can be by her side. You can be here to help her. Sweetie, she's got to save herself. Okay? We're all responsible to do our own bit of business. And our partner is there to hold our hand, to encourage us to understand. Okay? 1399 AC. Thanks, Susan. He took lessons with pickup artists in the past. Oh, I know those guys so well. I told him he keeps chasing a feeling. He said he wants the same emotional safety we had, but he also wants the hottest girl in the room. What? What? So, out of the fellows that you all know, I'm not going to say which name it is, but one of them was a buddy of mine. And we had the best, I've said this before, 4-hour date. I was younger, he was younger. Anyway, we had a 4-hour dinner date, and I thought it was the most interesting discussion in the world as I was explaining to him the psychological profile of women and how guys can get anything they want from a woman. Oh my God, never knowing that that was going into the vat of emotional manipulation because we didn't have it at that time. He goes out to California, they get the house together. They had these guys living in sleeping bags in their closet, making a fortune running the boot camps. So he's in the book, The Game. He's one of the original group. He called me because he liked a girl. And he said, Susan, I like her. I don't know what to do. And that's when I said, hey, game gets game, real gets real. And you hooked her with the bait of game. I don't think you can flip her. You can't flip now. It doesn't work because whatever she was attracted to in you, believe it or not, even though you think she's a great girl, she was attracted to the wild horse that she can never have. So you didn't attract the right kind of partner to be attracted to you to begin with. There's something unresolved in her. He's happily married. He went off the grid for years. He's living up in the mountains in California with his family as far as you can get from anything. Complete U-turn. Loves his wife dramatically. They don't have a skill set for relationship. They have a skill set to pick up a girl, which is supposed to boost their ego, which goes back to the video I did on Tuesday of men choose women for the approval of other guys. He's stuck at age 13 in middle school where his guy buddies say, wow, he got to kiss so-and-so, she's so hot. Or maybe in middle school now they say he got to sleep with so-and-so, right? So he's immature and smart enough to have you, not smart enough to know what to do with you. I would put the pants on in this relationship, say it like you see it, no holes barred, be as honest and direct as possible. This kid needs an education as to what women are like and relationships are like. And if he still wants to go back and repeat the cycle that he's Richard, I had a similar thing happen to me. A girlfriend had been physically abused by her past boyfriends, and she assumed that I would eventually do the same. I couldn't convince her. This is where we hang on to the trauma of our past and we load it on our back and we traipse it into a new relationship. This is exactly why we have to do the work within ourselves to make sure that we're free of this garbage so we don't drag it in. I remember I had one boyfriend said, "You know the thing I hate about dating the most in this time period? I got to clean up the mess that every guy did before I met you." I didn't have much of a mess to clean up, but that was his position. Okay. Yes, he loves me and he's coming back. Thank you. Okay. This is good. All right. So all of you are going through this long conversation. We got David, we got JD here. There's a lot going on here. I think, given today's topic, we have a lot to communicate about. This is that oftentimes breakups occur just because of attrition, because we're just so sick of going through the same thing over and over again. Really important. What's your stuff? Know what your stuff is. What's your partner's stuff? Know what their stuff is. Each one knows their stuff. Each one knows when they're being triggered. Each one knows to say, ouch, this happened again. But instead of attacking your partner, if you know they love you, just say, can you help me see a way out of this? Because I keep doing the same pattern. You got any ideas for me? What else can we do here? Because I don't want to keep going off on you because this is my stuff and I know it. Okay. And I know you love me. So you would be surprised what those words will do for a couple, because now harmony is created out of the scattered fragments of our past that were so messed up. And this is the innate beauty of a relationship. And this is where love becomes divine, that the love that we share has the ability to heal us, and that we together have the ability to heal each other. Nobody is a savior. Everybody is here doing their work. And we are always walking a very delicate line between knowing that we have boundaries and that we have values that are important to us, and holding to those truths while we also merge with another that has their own value system and their own truths. And in the process of relationship, constantly looking for a way to find these polar opposites and bring them together. Only if we cannot repeatedly find solutions and find peace do we then break up. But we don't break up initially because things got weird, things got tough. I felt something, I'm not sure how to deal with it. I'm going to dump you and just go back into a cycle to repeat, because that's all we do. Wash, repeat, wash, repeat, wash, repeat, and get rid of the partner, right? You've all been so generous today. Thank you for your immense, your super chat, your conversations. I appreciate everyone. B and Gwyneth, like, they do have better things to do on a Thursday night. I do know that. And I will see you back here next week. I hope, let's see, did something else new come in? Katya, 11 euros. Thank you, honey. We all have stuff, people separate. Do they come back? So, Katya, here's a quickie. This is just a Susan assessment. Remember, these are my opinions. I'm not, I'm just a person trying to figure this out like you are. We measure progress in a case like this from how far are we fractured and how long does it take us to get back to a center point, at least an agreeable understanding. So if each time your person goes away, they come back a little bit sooner, a little bit less stressed, and the extremes are coming off the edges, that's progress. Okay? Polarization coming off the edges of extremity, that's process. Okay? That progress, that's progress. So this should give you hope, okay, when you see it happening. And for those of you that want to have a deeper conversation, take a look at Allowing Magnificence. I wrote that back in 2004, published it 2012 or 14. It's part of a 600-page book, and the rest it was 20 years beyond anybody's wanting to hear it. So sometimes I wait and deliver this stuff later when I think it's going to make sense to everybody. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. Bea and Gwyneth, see you next week. Love to all of you. Stay beautiful, stay wonderful, stay happy. You are welcome to come to this site. If you want me to work with you, it's susanwinter.net. There are fewer times because it's holidays right now, but if you see something, book it right away. Take a look at Allowing Magnificence. Take a look at the website. I've got a lot of articles in there, and the search bar can let you search for any of those resources. Okay? Take care, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Bye now. Thank you.